Hey there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and first off I have to say I lost the audio on the first part of this video, so my voiceover is not going to match my hand movements that you see behind the two graphics. But I am showing you how to make the card on the left, which is I'm calling it the Monster Feet Halloween card, and it is dimensional and pretty fun, and it's made from the digital card kit that you see on the right that I designed. Now if you're looking for the instructions on how to get it all cut out in Silhouette Studio, Cricut Design Space, or Brother Canvas Workspace, those tutorials are available on my resource library on my website. So that is linked in the video description along with all of the supplies. So you could check that out if you're interested in getting the file. Now, I also wanted to tell you about a little tip that I kind of discovered while making this card, because there are several little tiny pieces that are involved in this. And so as you can see here, I've got two pieces of washi tape on my light grip mat, and you're probably wondering why are they there? Well, that's because they are covering up the claws that have been cut out in this bottom corner of the mat, and the claws are pretty small like you see there. And I didn't really want to lose, well, I didn't want to lose any of them, and then I didn't want to lose the order that they were in when they were cut out. So what I did was I stuck some washi tape over each row, like one's for the left foot and one's for the right foot. And now I'm going to just use my tweezers to kind of pry the claw off the mat and press it into the washi tape to pull it away from the mat. The washi tape isn't strong enough to pull it off the mat just because the mat is slightly stickier than the low tack tape. But with my tweezers and pushing the paper onto the washi tape, they come off very nicely and they stay in order. And even like in sort of the arrangement that they were in when you put them on the mat. So that I thought was pretty nice and could be a helpful tip. You'll see I did that with the toes on the left side there that are also on the washi tape. They're the little green dots, and those are the toes for the monster feet. So wanted to share that just in case you ever work with teeny tiny little pieces on a project where you really want to keep them in place and not lose any of them when you take them off the mat. I thought that actually worked pretty darn nicely for me. And I'm just going to repeat the exact same process with the second one. And I encourage you to try it. It actually worked out really, really well. Now, to begin with, we are going to decorate up the feet here. So the feet consist of the purple fur layers and then the foot pads and the toe pads, I guess they are, which are the green pieces. So we're going to decorate up the fur first. So I'm going to push the green components off to the side. We will decorate them as well in a moment. And I'm going to add some glitter to the fur on the purple feet. So to do that, I'm using Elizabeth Craft Design's Bright Grape glitter, Silk Microfine glitter. I've got a coffee filter that I'm going to pour the glitter into, at least a generous amount. And then I've got some Barely Arts glue that I'm going to use to put the glitter just around the outside edges of these pieces. Not over the whole thing, just around those little fur points that kind of run off the sides. Now we're not going to put it around the top where the claws are going to go, just around kind of the lower three sides, if that makes sense. And here's my glue. So I'm going to pour out like a decent sized puddle of glue onto my craft mat here. And then I'm just going to take the foot and I'm going to dip the edges of it in the glue. And I'm kind of angling it, as you see, to try to get more glue on the front side. And I'm going all the way around on those little fur points, all the way around the sides. And then I'm going to kind of smush the glue with my fingers to spread it around a little bit and get it less thick and a little more around on that whole border, if you will, on the feet. And then I'm just going to dip this into the glitter and it'll stick to the glue. And I wanted the edge to be pretty organic looking, you know, not super ordered or, you know, a specific width or anything. I was going for kind of a natural look, if you can be natural with glitter fur on a monster. And so there's the first one done, and then I'm just going to repeat the exact same process with the second one. So again, dipping the edges of the foot into the glue. You can see I got a lot more on this one on the one side, but that's totally okay because again, going for a very organic look. Then I'm just going to dip this in the glitter once again, and once it is totally covered, I will set it aside to dry, and we will move on to the green feet, parts of the feet, and you'll get audio back. So it will make more sense. And of course, glitter is really easy to clean up from the coffee filter because all you gotta do is just pour it right back into the jar, and there's very, very little waste as a result. Okay, now we're gonna do something fancy to the feet, to the green part of the feet. Now I wanted to show you, I'm gonna use some Distress ink to add some shading to these. What I wanna show you is I had the toes, I pulled the toes off the mat with the washi tape, and now I've got a full sheet of Post-it notes, so this whole thing is sticky. And I'm going to take the toes and flip them over and press them down. And now I'm going to peel up the washi tape. And so now the toes are right side up on this Post-it note, and that's going to allow me to get a little bit of shading onto the toes. Since they're so small, it's going to be a little bit tricky. And I'm just using the washi tape to hold the piece of Post-it note flat. All right, so I'm using Mowed Lawn. This is a color that is slightly darker than the feet. And so I'm just going to use my little blender tool here. And I'm just going to go along the edge. And I'm just kind of blending from the mat onto the edge of the foot. And you can see it's sort of changing a little bit. And I'm going to try to go a little darker on the inside and a little lighter on this outside edge. And go a little heavier on the instep. So that one's done. Okay, so my feet are done, and now I'm just gonna be real light. And this is a little bit tricky, but I'm trying to get a little more shading on the back side of the toes. So I'm kind of angling the brush and kind of rubbing onto the bottoms of the toes. And these are so tiny, it would be really, really hard to try to hold these down and do this. So this Post-it note is actually working surprisingly well. So those are done, and I'm gonna wait for the glitter to dry on my purple feet. And once those are dry, we will start assembling everything. And that's when the real fun part starts. All right, so we've got 2 greetings that come with this card kit, and you can use one or the other or both. It is totally up to you. I think I might use both, so I'm gonna make them both right now. Now you'll see there's a shadow layer, and then there's the words themselves. These are a little bit tricky because they aren't entirely connected. And when we look at this one's a little bit trickier than this one, because this is only 2 pieces. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces plus the eye. So don't you lose your dot for the eye. All right, but it's not too tough to put together, especially since the shadow kind of helps you get an idea of how it's going to fit on there and how much space they should have and that kind of thing. So I'm going to start on this one because it seems like the easiest and also has the most letters. So I'm again using my fine tip glue bottle here, And I'm just going to add some tiny dots around on the back of these letters. I don't need a huge amount of glue, and I have a tendency to overdo it, so I'm going to try to be frugal. All right, and then I'm going to use my tweezers to place this. Okay, and there's that one done. Pretty easy. And I'm thinking that to match the feet on the outside, I want to add some glitter to these as well. I'm going to wait for these to dry. And I think we can put the feet together now. Now I'm going to put the feet on first. So they fit inside, obviously. Some of the purple will show. I didn't want to have like glitter all over the whole thing. I purposely want the glitter and the purple to show together. So it's going to be like that. Okay, now I'm going to put the claws on. So there are my two feet with their claws. Really, really cute. Okay, so the toes are designed to be inlaid directly into the feet. However, I want to pop my feet up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some really skinny double stick tape behind the openings. So you can see there. And I'm leaving the backing on for now. And so what I'm going to do is inlay these toes onto the sticky part. Okay, and then to finish off the back side, just to cover that up, I'm going to cut a really skinny piece of purple. And you could also just like piece it together out of little smaller pieces. All right, so I'm just gonna take my little embossing pouch. Baby powder will work too, and I'm just gonna dab it over any bits on the back where the tape may still be exposed. And that'll take the stick off. All right, so here is how I'm going to lay out the front of the card. Now, the reason we needed to cover up the sticky on the back of the toes was because I'm going to use these action wobbles to make the feet pop off the card and make it kind of interactive. So before I do that, I'm going to get my greetings glued down, so bear with me. Okay, so I've got the sentiment on the front of the card and we have our feet ready to go. I want to show you a couple tips for working with glitter on your cardstock and glue, because sometimes you can get it in spots you don't want it, right? So I have two, well, first off, a Swiffer cloth is really good for getting any of the excess glitter off. So like if you have kind of a fine layer of glitter that you just can't get off because it's stuck on there due to static cling or whatever, Swiffer cloth will pull off every last bit of it, and it sticks to the cloth, so that's nice. Oh, then there are two sort of erasers available for paper crafts, and so this is a sand eraser, mono sand eraser from Tombow. This is obviously more manual, so I've got a little bit of glitter stuck here that I'm just going to try to get off, and so if I just rub on that ever so slightly, it comes right off with sort of the friction of this, I don't know, it's kind of like a sandpaper eraser. And then if you have areas with like that are a lot tighter, like I've got a little bit of glitter stuck next to my G here, I'm going to use this electric eraser. And so this is the kind of the eraser part of it, and then this is the trigger. So I push it up to turn it on, and I have to hold it, at least this particular one, and then just run it very carefully along the edge of that G, and you'll see that that glitter is like completely gone in 2 seconds. So both of those come in really handy. So if you work with glitter a lot, or you get sort of glue in spots that you don't like, both of these work well for that. I particularly love this electric one. Okay, so everything's ready to go, but now let's talk about what we're going to do to put our feet on the card. Now I want to put them on kind of like that, and I want them to pop off the card. So I have what are called wobbles or action wobbles, depending on who's selling them. And they're these like springs, basically. They're kind of like a plastic spring. So when you pull it out, it will like give you some action to whatever you stick to the spring, and then you stick one side to the card, one side to the element on the card. There are two different sizes usually, depending on who's making them. There is like the really big size, which is what we're going to use here, and then there's a much smaller size that's usually called like a mini wobbler, but they're made the same way basically. So I'm going to look at the big one. One side has this, like it's a little more heavy duty plastic, and it's got the opening for the spring. This is the side that's going to go on the card. And then the less heavy side that has like sort of the narrower part of the spring on it, that goes on your piece that you want to have lifted off your card. So you want to kind of center it as much as possible to sort of give it even distribution of space around it. I am going to peel off the sticky part. So this is like a double-sided adhesive. There we go. And so now I'm going to place this, about like so, a little bit towards the top under my foot. So it's gonna wobble like so. And then this back part, we take off the double-sided adhesive protective coating back here. And if you're very concerned about it coming off, you could add a little bit of glue to this. I'm not too worried about it. It's a pretty heavy duty stick. And then I am just going to stick it down. And hopefully you can see my foot is springing off the card. And just going to repeat with the second one. And so the feet will wobble back and forth and up and down off the card front. So pretty cute, I think so. See, they're dimensional, but they lay flat or almost flat to mail it. And now I'm just going to add my greeting to the inside. And there is our completed card. Pretty cute, I think. Obviously you do not have to do this with the action wobblers, but I think it makes it really kind of extra fun and extra cute. And there we go. I am one of the presenters at the Holiday Crafts for Cricut Makers event coming up October 12th through the 15th. I will be making the card you see on the left, the Joy card. It is a card with a removable ornament, and you'll see me make that version, and then you will receive the file for that as well as the piece version that you see on the right. And there are 19 other Cricut experts who are going to be there to give you fantastic holiday project ideas and presentations, along with some freebies. So I hope you will register. The link is in the video description. I hope to see you there. So I hope I've provided you with a little bit of inspiration for making a fun monster feet card. If you are interested in the supplies or how to download the file that I used for this, that information is all in the video description. If you got something out of the card, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up, like the video, share it if you so desire, and also leave me a comment. That helps out my channel quite a bit, helps the channel grow, and allows me to give you more design files and more content. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.